Welcome. Today, we're opening up a powerful toolkit that businesses are using right now to turn their data into decisions, and yeah, to even see into the future. This is a whirlwind tour of the key concepts you'll master in the MBA Elective Applied Business Analytics.
Just imagine for a second. What if you had the power to predict the really critical stuff? To know which customer is about to walk away, or which marketing campaign is actually going to be a home run? This isn't science fiction, you know. It's exactly what predictive analytics makes possible, and it's the whole point of this course.
The best way to think about this field is like a sophisticated toolkit. Each tool is a different predictive model, and each one is designed to solve a specific, complex business problem. So our goal today? To give you a tour of the most powerful tools in that kit.
Okay, let's grab our first tool. It's a foundational one, the decision tree. Think of it as a really smart, automated flowchart that makes sense of your data. But even with something so fundamental, there's this classic debate about the best way to build one.
The two main philosophies are best understood with a great analogy. On one hand, you have cart, which is like a sculptor. It starts with this huge, complex tree, a giant block of marble, if you will, and then it just carefully chisels away all the unnecessary branches. But on the other hand, you've got shade, the cautious gardener. It only grows a new branch if it's absolutely sure that branch is going to be fruitful.
But here's the kicker. The choice isn't just a technical one. As Professor Giolici puts it, it's a strategic business decision. He asks, are you analyzing or are you predicting? See, if all you need is raw predictive power, the sculptor, cart, is your tool. But if you need to understand the why behind the prediction, then you need the gardener, shade.
So, a single decision tree is good. But what if you could harness the power of an entire forest? Well, that brings us to our next set of tools, ensemble learning. This is where you find out there's real strength in numbers.
The whole idea is captured perfectly in what's known as the legend of AdaBoost. A wise scholar is facing this data beast that no single powerful champion can defeat. His idea is totally radical. Forget the champion. Instead, he's going to train a whole team of novices.
And here is the secret to his training method. When the first novice tries and fails, the scholar doesn't punish him. No, instead, he points at the mistakes and makes them more important. This is called adaptive boosting. Each so-called weak learner is forced to focus on the errors that the one right before it made.
And this creates this brilliantly simple, powerful cycle. A learner makes an attempt. The algorithm makes the mistakes they made way more. The learner gets rewarded with a say in the final vote based on how well they did. And then you just repeat. This creates a team of specialists that, when they work together, can solve a problem no single expert could ever crack alone.
This core idea, this process of combining a bunch of models to create one supermodel, is called ensemble learning. It's all based on the principle that a collective decision is way better than any single opinion. And it also happens to power another really famous model.
Building on that exact same idea is our next model, the random forest. Instead of trusting one expert, why not consult a committee of hundreds? Each tree in this forest gets a slightly different, random piece of the data. And the final prediction is just a simple majority vote. It's literally the wisdom of the crowd, and it's an incredibly powerful way to cancel out the errors of any single tree.
Okay, now for the most advanced tool in our kit. This is a model that's actually inspired by the structure of the human brain itself, the neural network.
Now, I know it sounds incredibly complex, but believe it or not, a neural network thinks a lot like you do. Picture this. You walk into a party. You take in your raw observations, the inputs. Then you process that info through your friends' opinions. Those are the hidden layers. Finally, you combine all their feedback to make one single decision, the output, stay or leave.
So how does the network filter out all the noise? It uses something called an activation function. Honestly, just think of it like a personal rule you have for the party. You're only going to listen to your most optimistic friends. All the negative vibes, you just ignore them. That right there is the activation function at work.
And it's this simple idea of layered decision-making that unlocks these, incredible superpowers. Neural networks can learn features all on their own, which makes them absolute masters of image and sound recognition. They can understand the sequence of words in a sentence, and they can even generate brand new, creative content completely from scratch.
Okay, so you've used these amazing tools. You've built a powerful model. But, and this is a big but, how do you actually know if it's any good? The answer isn't always what you think, and this might just be the most important business lesson in the entire course.
So imagine you build a model to detect defective products in a factory. You test it out, and the result comes back 99% accuracy. Wow, that looks amazing, right?
You're probably ready to celebrate, pop the champagne, call it a day. But hold on a second. That fantastic score could be a complete and total lie.
Why? Well, think about it. If only 1% of your products are actually defective, a lazy model that just predicts no defect every single time would also be 99% accurate, while being 100% useless. It completely fails at the one job you gave it.
To find the truth, you have to look beyond simple accuracy. You need to understand the kinds of mistakes your model is making, and that's where metrics like precision and recall come in. Precision asks a simple question. Of all the times you predicted defect, how often were you right? And recall asks, of all the actual defects that were out there, how many did you find?
And this brings us to maybe the most crucial point of all. Choosing the right metric isn't a data science question. It's a business question. For something like health screening, you have to prioritize recall. The cost of missing a diagnosis is just too high. But for a marketing campaign with a tight budget, you need precision. You can't afford to waste money contacting the wrong people. It all comes down to the real-world cost of being wrong.
We've really just scratched the surface of this powerful predictive toolkit. This is just a glimpse of what you'll be able to build and what you'll be able to master. All of these tools we've talked about today, from decision trees and ensembles to neural networks, and of course, proper evaluation, these are all core components of the Applied Business Analytics course. And just so you know, this elective builds directly on the skills you learn in the prerequisite course, which is Foundations of Business Analytics. Look, this course is designed to give you the power to turn raw data into intelligent, defensible business decisions. You've now seen the control panel. You know the tools at your disposal. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with them?